Good evening, guys. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I love animals, and for the last week we've been tormented with wow, 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 and we heard this cat, and we kept wondering what it was and where he was, and we go outside and no cat. So it's like, okay, it's very strange. And finally True says to me, I'm hearing this sound every day and it's in the one place all the time. You could hear it in our bedroom, out in one, it always seemed to be coming from one place. So he went down to the neighbour's garage and he said it, down to the neighbour's house, and said that he thought maybe there was a cat in the garage. They couldn't find the cat, and twice they knocked on this poor woman's door, and she's heavily pregnant now, and you know, she's been disturbed with this really in a way, but we were hearing it. So when there was no cat in the garage, we gave up and we thought definitely no cat. It must be something else. So we let it go for a few days, and yesterday evening I pulled in. I'm only vlogging about it now, but yesterday evening I pulled in. Meow! Meow! Really high-pitched meow, like, and I'm like, hello. And I go looking around and in the bushes and in the lawn and everywhere around the area, like of where it is. And no cat. When I was listening intently as to where it might be coming from, and I narrowed it down to the neighbour's garage again. And I'm like, okay, so there is a little gap. The door is a bit damaged somehow. There's a gap. So I looked in the gap, and there's this eye looking out at me. The cat in the garage. So I went to the neighbour's house anyhow, ding 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 ding, ringing the bell. So she comes out looking really tired with a blanket around her, and I could tell that she'd been probably lying down having a rest, because she's very heavily pregnant now. She's in the last trimester, I should think. And I said, do you know there's a cat in your garage? And she says, again? And I'm like, yeah, but this time it's really there. I actually saw it this time, not just heard it. And she's foreign, they're from Lithuania, I think, so her English is pretty good, but I hoped that she'd understand me anyway, because I never really had an in-depth conversation with her, but she seems really nice. First we go to the garage, we start pulling at it in the corner because it's loose and a bit damaged, and the cat just disappeared, and we're like, that's not working, he's frightened. So then she says, okay, I'll move the car, because the car parked really close to the door. She moved the car, and we opened the garage door, and there's the cat legging it down to the far end of the garage and on top of all their stuff. So I go after it anyhow. She says to go in because she's not able, she's pregnant. So I says, I'll go in then, yeah, and she goes, yeah, go in please. So I go in, and the cat finally crawled into this empty cardboard box. So I sealed up the box as best I could and carried it outside. And I opened it in the lawn, and the cat legged it off at 100 miles an hour, and I hope the poor thing is all right. But at least I slept easy last night because I knew that we'd rescued him. And the poor thing was in there all week, and no one found him until I found him. And I was so sad to think of him being stuck in there with no food and drink. But at the same time I was so happy because now he's released and free, and I'm sure he's from around and he has an owner, and he looked like a cat that's in good condition apart from this horrible week he's had. He probably lost a lot of weight, but he survived it, and he's gone off, and I'm sure he went home safe to his family, and I'm sure they welcomed him, and I hope he got a big bowl of tuna and a glass of milk or a saucer of milk or whatever they give him. So I'm sure he's all right now. And I slept well, and there was no cat sounds last night in our room. So woo!